Alrighty, what is going on, everybody? So it's pretty deep into the season. Arena hasn't reset, but we are getting more tournaments out. So I'm going to be talking about every radar station split here for trios and looking at that. So I've already spoken about this one, so I'll link that video over here somewhere in here. But the general idea is that you land either here or here, and if you're conned, you either want to alpha up castle, so you send all three here, or you send all three over here. There's not really much loot over here, so if you're doing that, then you probably want to dip down and loot. But you want to alpha up castle and then push radar station if they are there. And it might be a 50-50 at castle, which is one of the downsides. So it's really drop oriented because one of the chests spawn at the top. So if you own the middle part here, let's say we have one guy here and then the other two land like over here, then you guys own already this part of the map, and he can give callouts and you guys can wrap around and get, like, you know, flanks and everything. Basically whoever owns the center will probably win it. And then let's say it's unconned, so you loot all this. Maybe you send 1 2 3. If you only want to take over the land around castle, you loot all of this, and then you can all meet up here and start working your way down the John Wick. Now, the good thing about this that I mentioned a lot in the video is that there's a bunch of options. Let's say the bus path is something like this. These are your 3 gliders. So you have one person who's going to be aiming back here, one going castle, and then the third looks out here for anybody, conning them. And if there's nobody on this side of the map, then he can give the comm that this is clear. Then this guy over here who's aiming for radar station, he checks for this side of the map. So you guys, okay, I don't see anyone shark, I don't see anyone coral. So we can go up if down here is conned. And then the guy in the middle just beeline straight to castle. He doesn't worry about looking at anything because you need to make sure that the guy that landed in the middle has the best drop, so you don't want him to look at anything. Maybe if he has time he can check a believer, but it'll probably always be con. Alright, so let's go clockwise. So let's fly up over to Stealthy. So Stealthy now has a radar station in the middle, which means it is a pretty fucking crazy buff for this place. Now there's metal, 3 henchman chest, and a launch pad to get out, and you get the black cars for rotations. So usually what happens in Stealthy, because I've landed here a bit, is that you either get all 3 con in here or all 3 con in here, or if there's more than one team, then they kind of spread out all around here, and it's kind of like a little mess to fight in. So there are more chests in here in more of a compact place. So if you get this spot to yourself for all 3, then you guys can get somewhat decent loot and then decide if you guys want to dip off or push them. There's also a turret right here that you can get in, but you might get cracked. Let's say you get good loot here and they landed here. But the good thing is that there's also IO guards spawn here, and they're fucking annoying. And sometimes they can bring you down to like 2 HP because you're trying to loot and they're spraying your back open. So you can, you know, you have the option to go around and find some angles on these guys while they're trying to loot, avoid the IO guards or whatever. The downside is, oh, actually recon scanners are out of the game, so it's not even really a downside. Now if it's flipped and your team lands here and they land here, so the idea is that you want to loot as quick as possible and have at least one person set up on top looking out for them. So you can come, okay, one guy's going to this stone structure over here, one guy's going down, okay, they're all running. This guy can calm where they're all going, and you guys can fight around that. Let's fly on over to the next one, which is over here. This one is pretty much heavily populated because this whole area now has gotten a huge buff. So the good thing about this, that if you send all 3 here and it's unconned, you know, your boys can split up. You can send, okay, one guy goes up to loot weather, he might do something like this or come back. This guy can loot all of this and go hit gas. Then one guy goes down and hits 3 houses. So now you own all of this land right here. That's a lot. So if it's conned, what you can do is either A, send all 3 in here, control this, and then the other trio would be forced in one of these areas over here, or they con you and then it's just a 50-50, whoever has best drops knows like where the henchman chests are and everything like that. But if your team lands here, what you can do is loot up quick and send them, because remember they're going to be fighting the IO guards looking around for the loot. Somebody's going to have to go all the way down here for the henchman chest and hit it, stuff like that. But you can do 3 here versus 2, and you send 1 right here, and then this guy can look for angles, make sure that they have nowhere to run, because if they run out this way, then you guys can all just spray them. So he cuts off the launch pad that's over here as well. Now if you send all 3 here, your loot's bad, just bail out. The downside is that if you don't really have anywhere to bail out to. You can't really go to Craggy because then you'll get shit on, and if you go to 3 house, then they're just going to launch pad on you and kill you. So really it's super drop oriented. You'd probably have to find a car and maybe dip down here and see if you can find any extra loot at bridge or somewhere over here, because it will be pretty shambles. But for rotations, you're pretty much golden. You can fly to Spire and then go more in. You can grab one of the black cars and drive in wherever zone is. Depending on when you leave, you have to be careful of the Craggy and all these teams meeting up here. But it's pretty free for rotations here. The downside who you have to watch out for, Steamy. They're going to do a rotation like this, or they're going to go to 3 house and come behind you, or maybe hit Slurp Truck and keep going in, depending on if this is hit. So you do have to be careful of the Steamy team, the Orchard team, and any team that's doing some split over here. So these are the teams to watch out for. Also the Craggy team if you want to go left. Let's fly on down to the next one. So this one is down here. A good split with this is 1, 2, 3. If it's all unconned, this guy loots here, this guy loots this, and you guys loot this. He loots this quick and goes down here. He can fish with his boy, get some fish at all his fishing spots. Then they can meet here and either dip the bridge for metal or go over here and see if they can fight these guys. Something like that. Now, if you wanted a more W key focus split, you send all 3 here. You just loot this up and then you fly out and see if you can catch the team that's doing a split here like this. What often happens is we have 1, 2, 3, all 3 here. You guys will loot this before they finish in this, because this guy will go over here and loot some of this. This guy will go over here, work his way over here. This guy will hit like all of this as well. So they're pretty spread apart. So if you can catch one of these guys out when you're flying in, even if you could fly like over here and catch this guy rotating out, or fly all the way over and catch this guy, you might have a pretty good chance of finding a free pick here, free surge, something like that. But you're just gonna have to play with the time and see what happens. But what you can also do is you can fly pretty much, over here, you can go back and fly towards retail. You guys could all fly back towards the Spire and take the Spire to dirty or to retail, depending on what you guys want to do. But you have fishing holes, you have mats here, and really who you have to watch out for is later on in the game. You have to watch out for anyone doing a split here that wants to farm the bridge, especially this team, because if they want metal, they're usually going to go to the bridge or try to fully max out here. You have to be careful again of this team coming down here like this, because they're going to hit barrels and then they're going to work their way to Lakehouse to see if that was hit. You have to be careful of the retail team. Usually they push into lazy, but sometimes they might go down, especially if the stacker, and see if they can find any tags on you guys over here. Then the dirty team you don't really have to worry about unless zone pulls down here. Most often they go up like this. But if zone pulls down, then you have to be careful, because they might go up, hit Lakehouse, and work their way down, something like that. Alrighty, the next one is over here by Ozark. I think this is one of the last. Oh no, we have 2 more. So wait, Ozark's over here. This is like Camp Cod-ish split. This one's pretty unique. I think it's in a pretty interesting location because it basically cucks the shit out of Camp Cod. Because if you land Camp Cod, now you have, you might have someone doing something like this. And now this guy gets tagged on you while Weather Station gets tagged on you. So not only if you rotate up here, now you have, 2 people that can tag on you, and no matter which way you go, you can get tagged as well. So it's pretty questionable drop. And if you are going to land Camp God, you'll probably have to loot it super quick and be out super early, or tank storm and rotate in late. So something like that. But anyway, this isn't Camp God. This is a radar station near Camp God. So you can either send all 3 here. I doubt this radio station is as con, because there isn't really anything nearby. It's mostly just like a split drop. So you could do something if this goes on con, 1, I don't know, 2, 3, try to get like all of this loot, which is a lot. So a realistic one might be 1, 2, 3, one person stays and goes for surge, and then you guys, fly around together, hit all this, and work your way up to the zip line, do something like this, where you can even try to get some of this loot as well. Or, fly around and see if you can push into Misty, fly this way, take the zip line up, fly to bridge, get some metal, something like that. Really, you don't have anyone to worry about. You could have someone to worry about if someone does a split over here, if they want to come that way, but usually they go down towards gas and then towards flush or hydro. You could have the Misty team. I'll be shocked if the Misty team pushes backwards. I mean, that's just never going to happen, but it might, especially if it's like, brands or something, and this team VOD reviews and sees you guys land some crazy split like this. Obviously you will need metal, and that will be taken here, or if you can find enough metal at these locations, but you probably won't for cap. So the problem with this bridge is that you might have the Missy team rolling up, you'll have the Camp God team going underneath, and the Caddy team could come as well. So this is going to be like a nice little hot location. Now, people to worry about. I'd say you have to worry about Camp God. Anybody doing some split over here, Weather Station and Caddy, they'll probably fight those, so you only have to worry about one of them. And that's really it to worry about if you're doing some sort of split over here. So finally, we're over here at the Weepin radar station. This one is actually pretty good, I think, in my opinion, and very underrated. You can either remember, send all 3 here and con the team, or you send all 3 and you roll up over here on Weepin and you third party this, because you might have a team here and a team here. These teams fight in, you fly in, get your angles, and see if you can end up getting like 3 to 4 kills or something like that. Now, if you didn't want to go fight, you can go back and loot this area over here. So you could loot this, someone flies the bridge, someone works their way down, someone goes like this and hits Deadeye, and you guys end up looting like this area all here. And then you guys can either go to lazy, go to zone, or stay along this mountain, because this is in the middle, and you can start creating bases. You can base up here, fake base, fake base, fake base, fake base, and then you kind of own all these areas. Especially if it's like a stacker, like a big stacker, where like people won't push each other early. You can base up on any of these mountains here, even a fake base, and just shoot at people that are rotating in. It's going to be easy for Surge as well, because there's so much chest here. Downside is metal. You probably have to farm most of your metal over here, maybe at bridge or Deadeye, but most of your metal is going to be from here, so you might not be cap on metal. Now, there's not really many people to worry about, because there's not really any POIs, and you're on this giant mountain. So really, if you get this, you're going to be pretty free, and you can just stay up here. Cap wood, cap stone, pretty close metal. There's some fishing holes here if you want to fish, but I mean, it's not consistent fishing. I think for flying, you can get to Bone Bridge, you can get to Weepin. You might be able to get like across the river here and maybe go for a third party over here. Might be a little bit weird. And you should be able to get almost to lazy, but you wanted to go down. So let's say that you find that these areas, this would be a huge crazy split, but what if you did something 1, 2, and 3? This guy hits Spire and either A, flies over here and comes up, or he just flies straight in. This guy loots all of this, this guy hits this, and then you guys own this much land here, which would be insane amount of just land and chest and shit like that. That could be a thing, but you guys could all land here. Let's say you loot all this, you come back here, and then you fly in, and you might fight the Misty team here, or see if you can catch the team that's rotating up right here or something like that. All right, we are at the last one. This is the Shanty Town Slurpee radar station. This one I like a lot, because the split would be something like this if you're unconned, or all 3 here, and you guys can key Slurpee or key the flesh team. So a good thing is that if it's unconned and you want to key, you land here, you loot all of this, you either get barrels from over here, or just get some shields as much as you can. And if flush is uncons, you might have something like this happening. Or even, I've seen this split, and this guy is free. Just send the fuck out of him. This guy's gonna have to car over. This guy's gonna have to find a car down here and then car over, or even over here. Just if he doesn't get a car, it's gonna be a 3v2, because you'll kill this guy quick. This guy will come, you'll kill him, then you'll kill the next guy. So if you do want to key, and you can VOD review, you can see if a team is doing some type of split, including these, then you can fly on over and swim the rest and con these guys here, or fight them. But if you don't want to con, no worries. You can just hit all of this, get a fair amount of chest, get metal from here, maybe some metal from over here from all the slurp barrels and stuff. I don't know if you'll be capped, but you have a fair amount of metal. You can fish from all of these, get a good amount of fish and stuff, and then dip out to zone using the black cars. Or you can push into Slurpee. Don't really have anyone to worry about unless a team cons Shantytown. One team goes Slurpee, needs Surge, and they might try to hold you. Or if somehow this team decides, to rotate up, so they go, okay guys, let's all meet up at flush. They do, and they go up and they hit Slurp and go in, and you guys are driving like this, and then if you guys fight, the Slurpee team might hear it, and that might happen. So I think that concludes all of the radar stations. I know this was a pretty quick video. I'm just trying to get them all in and not drag this out for 45 minutes. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this. I think the radar stations definitely have some unique splits that you can work with. A lot of W key potential, especially like loot up and go to a POI. That's a really common thing that all of these have. So if you are a W key team, land at one of these things, hit all the chests, fly on out, and go key a position. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. I think the next video will be about lever shotguns, or all the shotguns. I haven't really decided. But yeah, anyway, cheers.